So one thing that we're very excited about, or that following live video, which we think is going to just explode and be bigger, is how do you index, how do you share, and how do you refer live programming around the internet? After all, it doesn't have metadata. It kind of happens in real time. So how does that happen? So why don't you explain about video discovery in real time, what you'll be doing with LiveStation and the other opportunities around serving up live news.
Yeah, so live is definitely growing and fast. And the way we look at, in general, the recommendation, the way we look at it is that there's no, one solution that fits all. And specifically with live, because there's a challenge of indexing the specific stream, you don't really know what the stream is about. You don't really know who's currently speaking, what's coming next, when is it going to be over, and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of behavioral and almost real-time pattern detection that you have to apply to be able to suggest other things that are currently going on that people might want to watch next. And we're doing it. We're doing it right now across our network of sites. We never looked at news publishers that have a lot of textual content around it as the only way to suggest recommendations. So contextual was never the only way we looked at recommendations to begin with. So I think that because we set out to solve this problem using behavioral technology, as well as looking at specific users' patterns, we're able to tackle the live vertical in a very unique way, because every minute we're able to reshuffle the recommendations and see what's going on across the site and recommend other stuff that people might want to watch next.
So if you're watching a live broadcast about the Arab Spring or something, they know that your engine will know that the viewer is interested in that, as opposed to the red carpet of entertainment shows or something like that.
I mean, interestingly enough, we might not even know what the stream is about. We really look at this as a black box. So we would pick up potentially the title, if there's a title. I know that LiveStation is working on some exciting things of progressing the metadata around it, but we would really go further into the behavioral and try to pick up patterns. So if we see that something on Twitter is really exploding, we would bring it back into the LiveStation. If we see that there's a certain stream that people are liking on Facebook, that would go back into the recommendation. Or if people just, we're offering suggestions to users and we see what they click on. So it's mostly based on patterns and behavioral segmentation on the site versus textual recommendation, because there's not a lot to. In general, by the way, taking a step back, video is a big problem because, as opposed to articles or other type of form of content, there's not a lot of text around it. So you have to be able to take really good guesses about the video without knowing what it's about. Last year, I was pitching for the entire year that publishers need to convert users into the video page from article and homepage. That was the biggest upside. I think this year what we're seeing is that for the first time, publishers are actually making money off of video. It wasn't the case 2 years ago. It started somewhere, I feel like, last year, and now it's definitely happening. What it means is that there's a supply and demand issue. And we have people from Tremor Media that can probably speak more about that. But advertisers are going into those mega websites thinking there's a lot of inventory to buy because they buy a lot of display. But then they're starting a conversation. They say, well, we have $1 million this month to buy on video. And the publisher goes, well, we cannot take it. So historically, we used to help a lot by increasing that supply within the website. But we got to that point when it's not enough. So which means that to help our publishers to get to that threshold where they have enough inventory to sell, and maybe even more, to be a player in the marketplace within the video space. So forget about display. Biggest brands don't have enough video, so they're not a player in the video space. We're now starting to increase that supply from other sites, and we're doing a tremendous job at it. So we can generate and drive millions of uniques to a video page on a website, and those are super engaged users, because when we offer at the end of the Washington Post a recommended video from another site, that user is already looking to discover something. That user has an intent to be engaged with videos. Now it's just a matter of, is it from the current website? Or maybe if there's not something right now that's interesting from the website, it's from another website. It's all CPC, it's performance-based. If it's not working, no one is paying. If it's working, there's a lot of revenue to be made.
Can you explain, what is your business model? How do you make money? And also, what is the commercial relationship between you and the publisher?
Publishers get the product for free. It's free to install, free to use. They keep 100% of the increase in video views that we generate. And just to name some public, and now public stats, Gannett said that since they launched us, 10% month over month they saw increase in video revenue internally from us. New York Times said that they saw 250% increase in click-through rates and revenue. So that line of revenue which we generate is 100% for the publisher. When we show videos from other sites, so imagine there's like an exchange. All publishers bid to be on that recommended widget. So if you go back to the Washington Post, when you read an article in the Wash Post, and we show you a video from the Hollywood Reporter you might want to watch, the Hollywood Reporter would pass per click. So we have a bunch of publishers that try to acquire, it's a user acquisition program. Many publishers give us monthly budgets to acquire users from our network. And when someone clicks, we get CPC. We actually share some of that revenue back with the publishers. So the publisher gets increase in video revenue, and we pay them monthly from clicks that we generate on their sites.
So I just have a follow-up. So any revenue generated by a publisher from increased video views on the publisher's own sites, you don't take a piece of. Okay, thank you.
100%. And most publishers, as of recent, which is, I think I've shared this with Lipa yesterday. So historically, we're paying a lot of publishers for those sponsored recommendations. And as of recent, again, I think this is a good indication for the industry, if you want to take a higher approach here, is that a lot of publishers, instead of taking that paycheck from us, that revenue from us of those sponsored recommendations, they reinvest it in our network, and they say, instead of paying us 20 grand a month, we want to acquire 500,000 users a month from your network. So they don't care for that immediate revenue, they care for increasing their unique users for the sake of Comscore, for the sake of the relationship with brands, for the sake of their strategic video building. And I think that never happened before as well. I think that's another indication that publishers just want to increase their supply.